We welcome you to NCAA Regional Baseball, presented by Capital One. Melching Field in DeLand, Florida. A regional final tonight between the Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Stetson Hatters. Stetson made it to this final by knocking off Hartford and then beating Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has knocked off South Florida twice, on Friday 9-2, and earlier this afternoon 6-1. So tonight, Stetson with a victory can advance to their first ever Super Regional. Oklahoma State with a victory would get themselves to a 1 o'clock game against the Hatters tomorrow. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mike Keith with former All-SEC first baseman Rusty Entzer. Tonight, the Hatters can make history.
I tell you, Mike, they were the hottest team in college baseball coming into the tournament, winners of 15 in a row. They've won the first two. Hatters win tonight. They set a school record with 18 wins in a row, but more importantly, they get to their first ever Super Regional.
They need a big night from their All-American, Brooks Wilson.
Well, Brooks Wilson might be the best two-way player in college baseball. He has been a one-man show in the DeLand Regional. 5 hits in the regional with a pair of doubles and a triple. He has driven in 5. And here's the scary part, Mike. He hasn't even pitched yet. He leads the nation in saves with 20. You can bank. If Stetson has the lead late and the game's close, that man will be on the bump.
And we could even see him as early as the 6th inning. Tonight, Stetson tries to make history against Power Oklahoma State. First pitch is next. Former Oklahoma State All-American selection Josh Holliday is now their head coach. And playing in the regional final tonight, this is the way his lineup looks. Andrew Rosa has been a stalwart at the top of the order. Trevor Boone, hitting in the 6th hole, had 2 home runs earlier this afternoon against South Florida. That lineup will take on Jack Perkins, the big right-hander.
Jack Perkins, big body right-hander. 6'3", 218 from Ocala, Florida. He's a junior. He has 10 wins on the season. That's second most on the club. Fastball is going to be anywhere from 88 to 92. Best pure pitcher on the team. Those aren't my words. Those are words from Stetson pitching coach Dave Thurno. And make history. Tonight, Jack Perkins has the baseball on the bump with a chance to make history for his school.
93 strikeouts in 94 2/3 innings. He takes the team lead tonight with his 16th start. He's been very reliable, goes about his business well, and that's what Stetson knew they had entering this regional. They had more starting pitching than any of the 4 teams.
I think the big question, it wasn't the fact that, it wasn't Stetson's pitching. They got depth. They have an outstanding closer in Brooks Wilson. It wasn't their defense. They played pretty good D behind their pitching staff. But the question was, can they hit enough? Well, they have so far, but can they finish it off tonight against a team that has plenty of history in Oklahoma State? 44 regional appearances and 149 tournament wins.
Andrew Rosa, 4 of 11 in the regional with a home run, hits the first ball to the right side. Fago is called off by his second baseman. Ball, 1 pitch, 1 out. Going to bring up Matt Kroon, the shortstop. He's 4 of 12 in the regional. As we take a look at the outfield left to right, McNeil, Coos, and Spooner. Show the infield now. You saw Ball at second. Up the middle, Arenas is the shortstop. Miola and Fago on the corners. Austin Hale, the talented catcher, forming a battery with Jack Perkins. In there for a strike. Tonight, potentially the biggest night in Stetson baseball history. That's saying a lot for a program that has been to 19 regionals.
Oh, yeah.
Home plate umpire Scott Klein liked that one. At first base, Ray Gregson. Eric Gaucher at second. Dave Condon, the umpire, at third. Gone. Strikeout number 1 for Perkins.
Nice start for Perkins. Ball on the inside portion of the plate. Mike, the closest Stetson has ever come to advancing past the regional round of the NCAA tournament came back in 1988 in the old 16 format when the Hatters lost to Florida in Tallahassee after eliminating Florida State. Stetson also reached the final day of play in 96, 2000, 2001, 2003, and again in 2011. So they've had their chances, but never at home and never in the winner's bracket.
The hot-hitting catcher, Simpson, hits it up the middle, but that's where the shortstop was playing him with the shift. And he's out 6-3. Perkins sends him down 1-2-3. Hatters coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Stetson's lineup tonight, the same as last night against Oklahoma State. Jacob Kuz in the 3-hole, Brooks Wilson hitting 4th, Eric Fago 5th, and Jorge Arenas 6th. Really have been doing the job in the middle of this lineup. Tonight, the challenge is left-hander Brady Basso.
Here's a good look at the left-hander Brady Basso, 6'2", 213 from Pearland, Texas. He has 2 wins on the season, making his 5th start. Fastball is going to be anywhere between 88 and 90. He does feature a nice overhand 12-6 curveball, and his job is to repeat Heasley. Jonathan Heasley in game 1 today, a complete game, 9 innings, 7 hits, no earned runs, 120 pitches, the game of his life, and Oklahoma State stays alive. They have to win twice in order to advance to the Supers.
Outfield, Littell, Boone, and McCusker. Corners, Newsifter and Funk. Middle of the infield, Kroon and Rosa. The battery, Basso and Simpson. Here's Andrew McNeil leading off. McNeil played last night, went 0 for 5. He's almost the only Hatter that didn't get in the act in a 10-3 Stetson victory over Oklahoma State. Fouls that out of play. How far do you think that Josh Holliday hopes to get Brady Basso in this game?
Well, when you look at his numbers from the season, Mike, the longest he's, as far as innings, the longest he's gone was way back on March the 13th. That was a start against Dallas Baptist. He went 6 innings in that ball game. But since then, his 2 longest outings are 5 innings against TCU and 4 1/3 at West Virginia. But to answer your question, if he could get 3 or 4, they may try to piece it together like Oklahoma State did in game 1 against South Florida, where Reza Ali Al-Aziz and Carson Teal combined. Ali Al-Aziz went 3. Teal finished it off with a solid 6.
McNeil fouls it off. We were advised by Coach Josh Holliday at the end of our earlier broadcast that Carson Teal is probably not available for this game after throwing 6 innings on Friday. Could be available if Oklahoma State forces a Game 7 in this regional tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's Josh Holliday. Outside.
Got some pretty good pop, too. 92 on the gun. Adrenaline's going for Basso. But listen, I say 3-4 innings for Basso. I don't think that Josh Holliday had any idea that Heasley was going to throw a complete game either. So if Basso could come up with a game of his life, hey, it's possible.
McNeil is now 1 of 7 in the regional after flying out.
In order to advance, you have to do unusual things. And they got it in game 1. Can they get it in game 2 from the bump?
Mike Spooner coming up. Spooner 3 of 7 in the regional. He has scored 4 runs. Spooner at 305. 2 hitters on this roster over 300. Brooks Wilson and Spooner both at 305. As a team, Stetson hits just 254. Interesting thing about this lineup as well, McNeil, Spooner, Coos, and Wilson, the first 4 hitters, all left-handed.
That's probably one of the reasons that Basso is in the game right now, to try to combat that.
Ball hit to left, but right at Littell. 2 down.
Rob Walton, the pitching coach for Oklahoma State, he knows exactly the lineup he's going to be facing, so that has a lot to do with who he's going to choose to go out there.
Jacob Coos, 2 of 7. He has scored 4 runs in this regional. He is a running threat, 21 stolen bases on the year. You don't want to let Coos get on base and then have the man in the on-deck circle, All-American Brooks Wilson, come up with a man on again. 2-0. There's Brooks Wilson. We will probably see him pitch tonight for the first time in this regional. Leads the nation in saves. Here's Jacob Coos' catch from Friday night. 8th inning against Hartford. Ends the inning.
Pretty special right there.
3-1. Winner of this regional faces the winner of the Chapel Hill Regional. It will be either 6th national seed North Carolina or Houston. Chopped up the middle. Gloved by the second baseman Rosa, but no chance. It's a base hit for Coos. Coos is so dangerous. He has great speed. Just hit it to a good spot. And Rosa wisely not trying to make a quick, hurried throw.
Well, I tell you what, moving Coos to the 3-hole this year is what Steve Tremper did, and that's really helped, balance and ignite the offense. He's certainly an average type guy, uses the entire field. He's a good 3-hole hitter. This guy's a good 4-hole hitter.
Wilson 5 of 7 in the regional. Look at those numbers. Driven in 5, scored 3. When they put away Hartford with 7 runs in their final 3 at-bats Friday night, Brooks Wilson ignited that. And last night in the win against Oklahoma State, he certainly ignited that with a 3-for-3 performance.
Well, not unusual, because during the Hatters' 17-game winning streak, he's the leading hitter on the squad at .387 during the streak.
Coos scored from first base last night when Wilson singled against Oklahoma State. Single to right. McCusker threw into second base, and Steve Tremper sent Coos, who scored easily. Surprised everybody. Set a tone for the night, though.
Yeah, it was good coaching, and when McCusker threw into second, that's just heads-up coaching, and that's what you have to do. You get down the line, and you're watching the play, and that way you can guide your runner coming around third.
Coos goes. Simpson throws. Safe. Coos has swiped base number 22 on the year, and Wilson will now hit with a duck on the pond and a 2-1 count.
Nice aggressiveness early. Steve Tremper keeping the pedal down, just in there. I tell you, Colin Simpson, one of the best catch and throw guys. Actually, we have 2 really good catch and throw guys in this game. Austin Hale behind the plate for Stetson.
Simpson made that play a lot closer than I thought it would be.
There you go, right there.
There it is. They're going for the record tonight. The school record is 17, which they have tied. The 94 Hatters did the same thing. A win tonight, figuratively and literally, puts Stetson in a different place. 48-11, the nation's number 4 RPI team, the 11th overall seed in this tournament. Chop to second. Rosa should make a play and does to end the inning. So good pitching by Basso, getting himself out of a jam. After one, no score, Oklahoma State and Stetson.
For more coverage of the Division I baseball regionals and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com.
Well done, Rusty Answer.
Thank you.
We go to the second. John Littell leads off, the left fielder. In there for a strike. Perkins working quickly. At the Chapel Hill region, North Carolina trailed Houston 3-1 going to the bottom of the third. Tar Heels score 5. They go to the fourth. It's now 6-3, North Carolina in front. Long throw for Miola. He got it. If North Carolina goes on to beat Houston tonight, they are guaranteed to host the winner of this, the DeLand Regional, at Bessemer Stadium in Chapel Hill.
Mike, if you're going to hit a ground ball in the infield, you better to hit it to somebody other than Jonathan Miola. He has put on a clinic the last couple of nights at third base.
Here's Christian Funk. Funk 3 of 8 in the regional with a home run. It came on Friday against South Florida.
Here's what happened last night.
That's Trevor Boone, who's up next. And he hit back-to-back home runs in the 6th and in the 8th, 2-run shots. So he's the man waiting in the on-deck circle with Funk coming up. 1-1 to Funk. Chops it foul. He's got a lot of power.
He's got a lot of torque on that lower half. I like his balance, but he gets a ton of power from his hips. Does a nice job cocking those hips. If you make a mistake, it better not be on the inner half because he'll lose it.
I don't know if you can see that bat, but it's very clear he's used it quite a bit. Might be time for either a paint job on that bat.
Oh, you can't do that.
Or maybe a new bat.
When you're going as well as he is, no. You don't
I was talking about after the season.
Oh, well, that's different.
Foul tip. Hale holds. Second strikeout for Perkins.
Let's talk a little Jack Perkins right here. That's a nice changeup right there to the power left-hander. This guy is a consistent innings eater. Never gives in. Never throws one in the middle of the plate. Fastball's pretty consistent, 88 to 92. It's got an occasional run. Slider's a little fringy. Tends to pitch off of it sometimes for strike one, but he throws a change and mostly throws it to left-handers, and we saw it right there to Christian Funk.
Why do you like a change from a right-hand pitcher to a left-hand batter so much?
Well, if you throw it right, it's going to die. It looks like a fastball. You throw it outside, and it's going to die low and typically out of the strike zone to a lefty.
He just blew Boone away. 3 up, 3 down again. Jack Perkins heads to the dugout. 1.5 in the books. We're scoreless in DeLand, Florida. No score. So far, Stetson starter Jack Perkins has been nasty.
Big right-hander using, he's got the fastball with a little tail. That's the changeup to the lefty. And then he just goes right up over the hands to Boone just to waste him away. 3 strikeouts, 6 batters faced. Jack Perkins feeling it right now.
The guy on the other side, Brady Basso, number 27, going to try to match Perkins. 5, 6, and 7 due up. Fago, Arenas, and Miola. There's Fago. One and one. South Carolina native discovered when Joe Mercandante, who was not working for Stetson at the time, mentioned to head coach Steve Tremper Hey, this Fago kid plays for our summer league team. You might want to take a look at it. Pretty good tip.
Well, anytime you can get a big body guy that's a hitter like Fago, that's a good thing. Just a freshman.
Just 110 at-bats so far this year. Strikes out. First strikeout for Basso, who is very much under control to begin.
Very much impressed with Brady Basso. And just like Jonathan Heasley earlier today, kind of rolling along early on. I think for both of these pitchers, listen, this is a final. If Stetson wins, they move on. If Oklahoma State wins, you play tomorrow. So a lot riding on the line. Probably some nerves if you're a hitter. The advantage, I think, typically early on in a game like this goes to the pitcher.
Jorge Arenas had a 3-run homer last night in the win over Oklahoma State. Arenas, 4 home runs on the year. He's knocked in 39. Even though his average is just 241, he leads the team in runs batted in. So he has made them count.
Also, too, Mike, in a game like this, as a hitter, you want to get off to a good start. You want to try to be the hero as early as possible. So a lot of times guys are over-anxious, swinging at balls out of the strike zone, like we saw Boone did in the top half of the second. That ball right there by Arenas was out of the zone.
Arenas taking his time. Scott Klein, the home plate umpire, says, climb back in, young man. 2-2. Fouled out of play. Mentioned, too, just getting this out there early, there is no video review in the NCAA regionals. It will be an option in the super regionals next weekend. Called strike 3.
Man.
So if there is a controversial call of any kind, it is not reviewable. And in the first 5 games of this regional, Rusty Entzer, we have seen a few that certainly would have been worthy of a review. This is not part of it, but let's review that catch.
How about Tony Miola last night? One of the most acrobatic catches I think I've ever seen, Mike, and I've watched this game a long time. That effort earned him the #1 play on SportsCenter last night and this morning.
Jonathan Miola started his career at Virginia, now part of this program, and doing a good job at the third base position, batting .252. Looking for his first home run on the year.
And if the last name sounds familiar, you're right. He is the son of Tony Miola, the famous goalkeeper on 3 U.S. World Cup teams, member of the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame. So obviously good bloodlines for Jonathan.
Miola had a tough game Friday night against Hartford, 0 for 4. Had problems at third base, bounced back last night with 3 hits, and that defensive play that you just saw. 3-0, 2 down. Basso lost it. First walk for Basso after back-to-back strikeouts, and Miola is aboard for the catcher, Austin Hale. Hale has 1 hit in the regional, but he has driven in 2 runs, 1 with that hit and 1 last night on a fielder's choice. From beautiful Winter Park, Florida.
He, too, had a great catch last night. Watch this. He has to go from his crouch behind the plate. It's not that high of a pop-up, and bangs into the wall head first. What an absolute effort. That is tremendous hustle.
And what was so important about Miola's catch and Hale's catch, one ended the second inning, the other ended the third inning. Only play to first. Long throw. Dug out by Funk. Inning over. Excellent defense to end the second. We remain scoreless in DeLand. Michael Newstifter will be the leadoff man. In the bottom of the third inning, we're scoreless. In the regional championship, the DeLand Regional. DeLand, Florida, the home of the Stetson Hatters. First time Stetson has ever hosted a regional. First time any team from the Atlantic Sun Conference has ever hosted a regional. These fans and this school taking a lot of pride in that fact.
Met the mayor of DeLand on the trip here. He was happy to welcome us here.
Mayor Apgar. Very proud of this 20-year-old facility, Melching Field at historic Conrad Park. The campus of Stetson University is actually on the other side of downtown from where we are now. It is beautiful.
It is. Spent a little time this morning on the way to the ballpark, driving around campus, took a few pictures. It's really nice.
Newstifter takes inside. See the football stadium in the backfield over the left field wall there? You could see it. That is Speck Martin Field. Newstifter strikes out. Fourth strikeout so far for Perkins. What I was alluding to, the stadium that you could see just over the scoreboard. Okay, that's the scoreboard. There's Speck Martin's. That's where they filmed the movie The Water Boy, Adam Sandler.
Just a wealth of trivia, aren't you?
Some quality H2O. Fouled off by Carson McCusker. A lot of good things in that movie, including Brett Musburger and Dan Fouts doing the broadcast. Oh, 2 to McCusker. He has 2 hits. But he's the 5th strikeout victim for Perkins. Cade Cabanis is going to be the designated hitter. He was the DH in the first game. Look at this.
It's pretty nasty right there.
Cabanis, 1 for 7 in the regional. His only hit, a long solo home run last night off Logan Gilbert. They do not designate the designated hitter until the actual at-bat to see what the situation is. And Cabanis, largely because of that home run last night, getting another chance, and the fact there's a right-hand pitcher. His batting average just 137. But he does have 3 home runs. You can see he's got really good size, too. He's 6'3", about 215. Two and 1. Good young prospect. Just had a rough year, and that happens. You get off to a bad start, it's oftentimes hard to get out. Strike 2.
Keep in mind, Mike, this Oklahoma State club was punched out 19 times last night by 2 Stetson pitchers.
To first, Fago will take it himself. Jack Perkins is blowing and going in DeLand. Scoreless through 2.5. Brady Basso facing the 9th place hitter, Kyle Ball, the second baseman. Ball is the only starter for Stetson in the regional without a hit so far. He's 0 for 7. So he is overdue.
Here you go.
Kyle Ball is 1 for 8.
He's going to buy you a gift. Right on cue, Kyle. Nice job.
Love to see the 9-hole hitter leading off an inning with a base knock.
Well, especially leading it off, it changes the complexion of the inning right now. You got all kinds of things you can do with McNeil. You can hit and run. You can try to steal a bag. You could even sacrifice.
Ball does not have a stolen base attempt this year.
By the way, I'm not advocating bunting here in the third inning because I think it's going to take more than probably 1 or 2 runs to beat Oklahoma State tonight because of the power that they have up and down the lineup.
Outside. The one thing they're doing by getting the base runner, working Basso. Now getting near 40 pitches. A guy who doesn't usually throw lots and lots of pitches when he comes in games.
Well, it also occupies another part of his mind. Now he's got to think about Ball at first base.
Two and 0.
I tell you, this will be a good hit and run count. Probably going to be a fastball. And if you put the runner in motion, what that does, Mike, it creates holes in the defense. You're going to either get the shortstop or the second baseman covering, and you might get lucky and find the hole with contact.
Called strike. 2-1 the count on Andrew McNeil, sophomore from Gainesville. Good look at Brady Basso. Oklahoma State won earlier today, eliminating South Florida 6-1 behind a great pitching performance by Jonathan Heasley. 3-1 the count to McNeil. Heasley, his first complete game. He had never gone longer than 7 1/3 in his career. He had not gone longer than 6 innings this season. Entered the game 3-6 with a 6.72 ERA. It's one of those things that you love about postseason sports at any level. The stories of people who rise above what they have done in the regular season. When it matters more, they do better.
Gave up just 1 unearned run, and that was an error on himself, on a throwing error.
Fouled out of play. Count now 3-2.
But that's a game he'll remember for the rest of his life, no doubt. And it was a huge jolt for that team right there, having only to use 1 arm in the game earlier today.
By the way, he's already out of this game because in the original lineup card, he was listed as the designated hitter, replaced by Cabanas in the third. So he played in both ends of the doubleheader, sort of.
He was in the lineup.
He was in the lineup. Missed.
Pretty good take right there. Very good take. There he is. There's Jonathan. Nice effort, buddy. I tell you. I hope somebody had the DVR rolling at home because that's one he'll want to keep.
They're looking for that kind of effort out of Basso, and right now he's got his first real problem of the game. Ball, after singling, is at second. McNeil, after working a walk, is at first, and Spooner is the hitter. Spooner has 2 sacrifices on the year. Very tight at the corners. Spooner acting as if he will give himself up. One and 0.
I'll tell you a great play that I would like right here.
There's a look at the first baseman, Funk. who probably wasn't 20 feet away from Spooner when the pitch went by.
No, but square around early, ignite the fake bunt and slash. It's a great play for a lefty. All you're doing is you square around early, show bunt, and as the pitch is coming to you, you bring the bat back and you swing. It's just like playing pepper. It's easier to do when it's a left-on-left matchup, and all you got to do is just try to take it to the opposite field on the left side.
He's swinging. That floats into right center. It'll drop for a base hit. They're waving ball. Here's the throw to the plate. Standing up. Ball touches the dish. Stetson 1, Oklahoma State nothing as Spooner comes through.
Well, that'll work too. I'll tell you, Mike, that is a great piece of base running by Kyle Ball at second base. That ball's hit right off the thumbs, but watch Ball. He reads it. He knows where Boone is playing a little deep. He knows that ball's going to drop. He breaks immediately. Steve Tremper, the Stetson head coach, coaching third base, waves him home. Great piece of base running by the Stetson second baseman.
Rob Walton, the pitching coach, out to visit with Basso. Some action in the bullpen getting started as it's still first and second with one run in and nobody out here in the bottom of the third. And you look at the number of pitches already for Basso, he's at 45. So those are starting to pile up. You talk about Perkins, if I'm not mistaken, he's at 30 through 3 innings.
Now, Basso, listen, he can go a lot longer. His track record, his season high would be 99 pitches. That was April 13th at West Virginia, 4 1/3 innings of relief. Get a good look at the Stetson head coach in his resume.
Been a head coach for 20 years, not even 50 years old yet. Was a coach of the year at Manhattan, at Maine, and this year at Stetson. When you have that kind of hardware from 3 different conferences, you can coach this game. 2 outstanding coaches in this regional final here in DeLand.
Yeah, that's right.
Coos. Will he bunt? He has not shown yet. Basso throws low. Coos takes.
Still like the fake button slash play right here.
Coos has been money. 3 of 8 in this regional. He has been the fly in the ointment for both Hartford and Oklahoma State. The igniter, the table setter. And the man right behind him has cleaned things up consistently, and that's Wilson. Part of the problem for Basso right now is he is in a dangerous part of the order.
And I wouldn't bunt.
Chops it right side. It's into right field. Being waved home. It's McNeil. Throw is up the line. He'll score. Taking third on the play, Spooner. And Coos makes it 2-0.
Two reasons I wouldn't have bunted in that situation, Mike. Number one, I still think it's too early in the game to waste an out if you're Stetson. And number two, Christian Funk thought he was going to bunt. He was playing way in on the grass. So anything on the right side, unless it was right at the second baseman, had a really good chance to get through. And he was able to top one through the 3-4 hole, drove in another run, still nobody out in the inning. Now with runners on first and third, you can run a play like last night. We saw in the earlier game yesterday afternoon on a first and third.
Basso walking on thin ice.
That was South Florida and Hartford.
Ben Leeper is up and throwing in the Cowboy bullpen as we play in the bottom of the third. 2 men already in. Brooks Wilson. Hit deep left field. It's going to go to the wall. One run is in. They're waving Coos. The relay throw, not in time. Brooks Wilson has doubled home 2, and the Hatters go crazy. And still, Rusty Inser, nobody out in the inning.
Tremendous base running. Nice gamble by Steve Trimper to wave Coos around. Opposite field double. Brooks Wilson is unconscious at the plate. He has now driven in 7 runs in this DeLand Regional. 2 big ones right there as Spooner and Coos cross the plate.
4 hits in the inning and a walk. 6th man to bat is Fago. Fago offers at a pitch outside. There's Leeper in a hurry.
Now, let's not lose sight of the situation. A lot going on here in this inning with a 4 spot. Fago down in the count. He's got to get something on the ground to the right side. You got to get Wilson to third base with less than 2 outs.
With less than 2 outs, actually, as you said, with nobody out, you've got to score Brooks Wilson in this game if you're Stetson.
Well, again, you give yourself up, put it on the ground, get him to third base. There would, if it's in the infield, it'd be 1 out, but you got to get him to third with less than 2 outs. That way he can score on a wild pitch, an error, sac fly, and 4 or 5 other different ways. Balk.
Rope to left. Littell up with it. They're going to stop Wilson at third. First and third, nobody out in a 4-0 game. And unfortunately, Brady Basso is not fooling anybody.
No, not this time around. And that'll work too for Fago. A base hit always works at any part of the field. Get something on the inner half, and boy, he just roped it to left.
Ball led off with a hit. McNeil walked. Spooner singled home Ball. Coos singled home McNeil. Wilson doubled home Spooner and Coos. So Jorge Arenas is the hitter, and the second time through the order, the 5 hitters that he has faced so far, he's not gotten any of them.
Yeah, he's coming out.
I don't think you have any choice.
No.
He did a great job the first time through.
I was kind of surprised he stayed in to face Fago because that was a left-right matchup.
So Basso gives him 2+, but it certainly does not end up the way he wanted it. Here comes Leeper trying to save the day with Stetson in front 4-0. First and third, nobody out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That's Mike Wilson. He is the father of Brooks Wilson, the All-American in the blue shirt and the red hat.
You think he's having a pretty good weekend?
I think he's having a good weekend. Pop's watching his son. I think he's pretty happy that number 10 there came back for his senior year. And I think Brooks Wilson is going to have a good week, too, with the Major League Draft starting tomorrow. May not be tomorrow for him, but he was picked in the 24th round by Texas last year. Rusty Inser, I think he's going higher.
It'll happen Tuesday or Wednesday for the young man, no question.
Ben Leeper, sophomore from a great high school, South Lake Carroll High School in South Lake, Texas.
On for the 17th time. He does have a win on the season, ERA a little north of 12. He has struck out 34 batters in 27 2/3 innings. Here's the stat. Opponents hit .355 off Ben Leeper.
Arenas is the batter. By the way, he knows what to do in these situations. We mentioned earlier he leads the team in runs batted in. One of the reasons he leads the team in sacrifice flies. He's got 5 of them. That's a skill in an at-bat like this, realizing that getting one in the air gets one home. Fouls it off. Last night, he broke it wide open with a 3-run bomb. Just got over the 375 sign. And boy, it was electric here at Melching Field when it became 6-1. Two and one. Wilson is at third. Fago is at first. Seventh man to bat in the inning, Arenas with nobody out. Three and one as he did not go. So says Ray Gregson. Good look at Fago, the 6'5", 236-pound freshman. Threw it right by him, 3-2. Do you think about...
No, I know what you're going to say.
Okay, well, let me finish. Yeah. Now you're doing me like Dan Fouts. Do you think about starting Fago 3-2?
No.
Okay.
Not at, what did you say, 6'5", 235 pounds? By the way, I think they weighed him in high school because he doesn't weigh 235 now.
I was going to say 10th grade. Ball four. Doesn't matter. To second, Fago. To first, Arenas. John Miola is a 4 hits and 8 runs batted in with the bases loaded this year. He's got them loaded and nobody out. As he goes against Leeper, the second Cowboy hurler, with a chance to blow this thing wide open in the bottom of the third. Look at that. 4 for 8, 8 runs batted in. I don't care what percentage you're doing in baseball terms. That's good. Base hit. Wilson scores. Fago is held. He's 5 for 9 with 9 runs batted in with the bases loaded.
Is that pretty good? I'll say. Miola, after a disastrous Friday night, boy, has he had a NCAA tournament. Key hit right there. That's Brooks Wilson scoring. Fago held up at third. Bases loaded. Still nobody out in the inning.
Middle infielders are back, looking for a double play. At the corners, they're not really in very tight.
Just funk at first base.
Why would you have the first baseman tight and not the third baseman as well?
It really doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
Looking at the runners now. There's Miola, who just drove in the run. At second, Arenas, and Fago is at third. Austin Hale bounced out to short earlier. Great play at third. Newstefter, he throws, but he throws it away. Fago is in. Arenas is in. Hale dives back to first, and taking third is Miola.
Mike, I think Newstifter originally, that ball down the line, I think he was thinking about turning 2. And then at the last minute, I think he was wanting to get the lead runner in a force, but he couldn't get there because he had to dive for the baseball. That long throw across the diamond, that's just a tough play for Oklahoma State. Right now, Stetson's getting all the breaks.
E5 on Newstefter. He should Hale should get 1 RBI on the play because the run would have scored on the force, but not the second. So that gives Hale 3 runs batted in. 10th man to bat in the inning is Ball. Still nobody out. First and third. Leeper throws it behind the catcher. Racing home, Miola. He scores on the wild pitch. Taking second is Hale. Eight to nothing. Still in the bottom of the third. Still nobody out. And now Rob Walton going to have to come out, the pitching coach.
This is just disastrous for Oklahoma State. I mean, you got to feel for Ben Leeper and his teammates.
Close the book on Basso, 2+, 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts.
There's you a good graphic right there. 2 for 8 the first time through the order. How about the second time through? I think they're getting comfortable.
Well, you have situations where teams bat around and you have seen every man in the lineup get a hit. If Hale scores, every man in the lineup will have scored a run in this inning. Leeper is leaving, and on his way in is 55, Peyton Battenfield, a right-hander. More coming up from the DeLand Regional as we play in the bottom of the third. You've scored 8 runs in the inning. You've got a runner at second, nobody out, and you gather for a meeting. What is Steve Tremper doing with the Stetson Hatters right there?
My guess is he's saying, let's stay in the game. It's not over. There's a lot of baseball left, and there's a lot of history in the club across the diamond from us.
Looking at the regional final, you see it on the far right. It's Stetson and Oklahoma State. Stetson leads 8-0 in the bottom of the third. They have put up 8 runs. 10th man to bat in the inning is Kyle Ball. Take a look at that again in just a second after Battenfield's first pitch to Ball. Ball steps out. Battenfield 6'4", 220, sophomore from Claremore, Oklahoma. He is the third pitcher of the inning.
26th appearance on the season for Battenfield. That is a team high.
The winner of this regional will face the winner of the Chapel Hill Regional. Currently, North Carolina leading Houston 9-3 in the 6th. If Carolina wins, they will host the Super Regional next week at Bossemer Stadium in Chapel Hill. What a beautiful venue that is, too. Ball showing bunt, pulling back. Steve Trimper, in his second year at Stetson, you could call it his first full year. He did not get here until January 2017, just weeks before the 2017 season started. Ball takes again, 3-1.
Yeah, it was a learning curve for him as we take a look at some of the numbers from Peyton Battenfield. A learning curve for Steve Trimper. He said when the season started, 3 weeks later, he didn't even know all the names of his players.
Ball 4. Ball is on for the second time in this inning. Go back to the top. When the legendary coach Pete Dunn, who had been here 37 years, had complications from knee replacement surgery, he had thought, I'm going to coach one more year, and then he realized just physically he couldn't do it. And so the Stetson Hatters and their athletic director, Jeff Altier, and their president, Dr. Wendy Libby, have to go find a baseball coach to replace a legend in December. They found that man. I think they did okay.
I think they did too. He has instilled an attitude at Stetson that's pretty impressive when we sat down and talked to him. Brought in 20 new players this year. He said they spent the entire fall building relationships. And once they did that, they had to develop trust. And once they developed the trust, loyalty took over. And that's when this team started to mold.
Right now, they've won 17 in a row, and they are in the driver's seat toward winning the DeLand Regional. He said, I want good people around me in every way. Players, coaches, staff. He said one of the reasons he wanted this job was Wendy Libby and Jeff Altier, a former baseball player here at Stetson. He has it going right now.
A win tonight for Stetson would be 18 wins in a row. That'd be the longest streak right now in college baseball. That would set a school record here at Stetson. It would also put Stetson into a first ever super regional, and it would also tie the victory total from the 2000 team in a single season, which would be 48.
And let's face it too, getting the 11th national seed, some people said, Stetson, really?
Yep.
They would prove totally worthy. They would answer whatever questions there might have been.
Well, and I think it validates our game and how it's developed and grown in the last 10, 15 years. Yeah, East Carolina hosting.
There's Dr. Libby looking on, obviously proud and excited, but realizing it's just the third inning. Two and one the count to McNeil. He walked and scored earlier this inning. First and second, nobody out. 3-1.
Also had Minnesota hosting, so college baseball has become more of a nationwide sport. You had UConn playing in the NCAA tournament, Northeastern, Hartford that we saw here in DeLand.
Fouled off. 3-2. Battenfield trying to get the first out. Basso, 2+ innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Followed by Leeper. Leaper faced 4 batters. 3-2. Called strike 3. Really good looking pitch.
Good job by Peyton Battenfield. It's a little last-minute tail. Not sure that was a strike, but it 8-0 here in the third. Got to expand a little bit.
Spooner singled in a run and scored earlier in the inning. Hale remains at second. Ball at first. Spooner 1 for 2 in the game, 4 for 9 in the regional. Now Jack Perkins is headed down to the Stetson bullpen to re-loosen. This half inning has taken so long. There goes Jack. He's got to stay in the game, keep those juices flowing, get a sweat going. One and one. Who's in the on-deck circle? Brooks Wilson in the hole. And they don't want to see Brooks Wilson again. They just don't. Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Battenfield. Josh Holliday, experienced coach, experienced player. Certainly not happy about what's going on, but you can bet his team will not quit. And they can hit the home run, so they're never out of it. Strike. 2-2 to Spooner. No wind here at Melching Field tonight. We had a 2-hour swing and a miss. Good pitch by Battenfield. Josh Holliday, experienced coach, experienced player. Certainly not happy about what's going on, but you can bet his team will not quit. And they can hit the home run, so they're never out of it. Strike. 2-2 to Spooner. No wind here at Melching Field tonight. We had a 2-hour weather delay before the first game. That contest, Oklahoma State a winner over South Florida 6-1, was supposed to start at 1. Instead, it started at 3. 3-2.
Like we've had weather in Athens, but Georgia moves to the regional final game. Beat Troy earlier today 11-7. Georgia's hit 8 home runs in its first 2 regional games, 4 in each game.
On the ground to the right side. Rosa has one play, and that's to first to get the out. The runners move up. Hale to third. Ball to second. And here's Coos. Coos 2 singles, a run scored, an RBI, and a stolen base. He's now 4 for 9 with 5 runs scored in this regional.
Indiana has eliminated Texas A&M. Clemson eliminates St. John's.
They're currently playing Vanderbilt, trailing 6-3.
Vanderbilt trying to win the Clemson Regional for the 2nd straight year. UConn eliminated Coastal Carolina, a national seed. LSU stays alive, eliminating Northwestern State out in Corvallis.
The 7 overall seed Florida State gone in 2 games. The 15th seed Coastal Carolina gone in 3 games. 45 pitches in the inning for hurlers for the Cowboys. Base knock. Coos does it again. Hale scores. Ball scores. Coos has another double. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know that man's name, take a good look. That is Jacob Coos, a junior from Wellington, Florida. He is 3 for 3 tonight, and he can play some ball.
Jacob Coos has 3 of the 8 hits for the Hatters, and he's driven in 3 of the 10 runs.
Brooks Wilson. Look at that. 5 for 10, 3 RBIs tonight, 5 runs scored, 3 stolen bases. 10 runs in the inning. Wilson is the 14th man to bat in the inning. One and one.
Like when we first got to DeLand, we were talking and maybe who had the advantage, and I think we both agreed that Stetson was solid on the hill, solid defensively, but could they hit enough?
First 10-run inning allowed since May 26, 97, and I can tell you where that was because I was there. That was a regional in Stillwater, Oklahoma. That was the only other time Stetson had played Oklahoma State in a regional. The Cowboys won that one 8-1. UCLA beat Oklahoma State twice to go to the College World Series. That was a 6-team regional.
To put a bow on my thought, again, could Stetson hit enough to win the DeLand Regional? I think we're in the process of answering that question.
Yeah, I have a good idea. Two and two to Wilson, Battenfield. Trying to work through it.
Second night in a row, they have put up a 10 spot against Oklahoma State. Not in one inning.
Struck him out. 14 men come to the plate. 10 men score on 7 hits. 1 error, 1 man left. After 3, Hatters 10, Cowboys nothing. Whip around coverage also available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage is available on the ESPN app. Jack Perkins, number 9, has faced 9, has gotten all 9. He comes back out after a wait in excess of a half hour. He will put up with it, however, due to the fact that his team scored 10 in his behalf. This is Rosa. Rosa 0 for 1 in this game, 4 for 12 in the regional. On the ground to short, Arenas. 1 down. Oklahoma State can score. Let's remember that. This is a team that has the ability to hit the home run. They've hit 6 in this regional, 71 on the year. They average right at 6 runs per game, which I know they'll need more than that. I get it. But my point is there are a lot of outs left for Oklahoma State.
I said this last night. I'll say it again. Remember, Duke scored 11 in the top of the ninth against Campbell in the Athens Regional. A lot of baseball left.
3-0.
And to your point, Mike, Oklahoma State has 3 players with double-digit home runs.
There you go.
There's a strike. The problem for Oklahoma State against Stetson pitching, they've had 24 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings. That's going to be a walk. First base runner will be Matt Krug. But again, if you're not putting the bat on the ball, not giving yourself much of a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to change your approach down by 10 because, listen, a solo home run's not going to do you any good. You got to have people on base. So work the gaps, change your approach, cut down on your swing, get on base.
There's Josh Holliday.
You could read his lips. He said, "Chip away, come on." So, Oklahoma State, the mindset is, hey, let's get 2 or 3 right here.
They get themselves back at least started if they do that.
Yeah.
Had him in a regional in 1995, told the story last night. I saw him score 10 in an inning. The shift is on for Simpson. 2 strikes.
Nice changeup right there.
The shift worked on Simpson in the first inning with Arenas playing behind the bag at second. Simpson hit it right to him. He threw him out. That's a mile high. You're going to stay in. Hale can't find it.
He didn't know where it is.
Caught by Perkins and then dropped, but he held it long enough, says the home plate umpire.
That was in the transfer.
In the transfer, he dropped the ball. That's good umpiring by the home plate umpire, Klein, to come in and immediately give a decisive signal.
Well, and that's a heads-up play by pitcher Jack Perkins. His catcher couldn't find the baseball. And fortunately, he's there to make the play.
Remember, no video review in the regionals, so no way to look at whether or not that call was correct. As Littell comes up.
But I think it was a good call.
I do too.
Yeah, it was on the exchange.
And if you didn't get the lingo, what we mean is, as he was taking the ball from his glove, using his other hand, that's when he dropped it. That's a strike. Runner at first, 2 down, top of the 4th. Hatters 10, Cowboys nothing. Sixth game of the DeLand Regional. Runner goes, ball fouled way out of play. Stetson has been playing baseball for a long time. This is their 19th regional. The team they're facing has been in 44, including 6 years in a row.
And 20 College World Series.
Off Perkins' glove to second, and a nice job by Ball to step on the bag. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. Through 3.5, it remains Stetson 10, Oklahoma State nothing. Last year, Stetson was 27-29. Right now, they are 47-11, and their resume, impressive.
See the player of the year in Brooks Wilson. That guy has completely torn up the DeLand Regional. Logan Gilbert, the pitcher of the year last night, he certainly proved that with 14 punch-outs and 7 innings of work. Steve Trimper in his second year at the helm at Stetson, the coach of the year. They had 7 players on the first or second team of the Atlantic Sun all-conference teams. First team, Logan Gilbert, Jack Perkins, the guy that's pitching tonight, and Brooks Wilson.
First full inning of work for for Peyton Battenfield. Eric Fago is at the plate. First pitch, skied high to center. Should be Boone. Is Boone. 1 out. Jorge Arenas coming up. Jorge, the sophomore from Miami Shores, Florida. A stout individual. He's 5'10", 200 pounds. Quietly, Battenfield doing a nice job, Rusty.
Yeah.
Main thing he's doing right now is throwing strikes. Hit into center. Arenas with a base knock. His first of the night. The 9th of the game for the Hatters.
Just driving it right back up the middle. Great piece of hitting. Jorge Arenas plays some good defense as well.
Jonathan Miola. Single last inning, scored a run. Every man in the lineup scored a run in the bottom of the third for Stetson as they scored 10. Ball scored twice. One out in this inning. Miola cracks that to left center. Base hit. Arenas will stop at second with the play right in front of him. And it's first and second, 1 out for Hale, the catcher. Rushing down to the bullpen now is Reza Ali Alassiz, who was the starter in Game 1 on Friday. He warmed up in the 9th inning of the opener today, but Jonathan Heasley needed no help as he finished it. A 7-hitter, giving up 1 unearned run, striking out 7, did not walk a batter until the 9th inning when he walked 2 to begin the frame. Hale reached on an error last inning and scored. He did receive 1 RBI. Even though he's 1 for 8 in the regional, he has 3 runs batted in. Ball gets away. Runners are going to advance with what has to be a wild pitch.
Yeah, it takes away now the potential ground ball double play situation. I was thinking that, boy, Oklahoma State could use something good. Now they got to change the defensive alignment. Everybody's got to come in on the grass at 10-0.
Arenas at third could certainly score on a fly ball. Battenfield. Fly ball to deep center field.
That's trouble.
It's caught. Tagging and scoring is Arenas. Tagging and going to third is Miola. It's 11-0. Here's a stat, Rusty Inser. Stetson, 10 of 21 with runners in scoring position in the 2 games against Oklahoma State.
Wow. Well, that's how you put up 21 runs against them. And, you know, the lack of pitching depth that's just in the losers bracket, it's so difficult when you're missing some really good arms. And that shortage is painfully showing now for Oklahoma State here.
Mitchell Stone and Parker Scott are gone for the year. Jensen Elliott didn't get back until May the 13th. And he's not himself yet. But I still say for their future, the pain of 2018 will be the gain of 2019. Because all those guys are due back.
Yep.
And a guy like Heasley, who had a big day today, just a sophomore. Here's ball.
Good block by Simpson.
One of the last teams to get in with an at-large bid. They have scrapped their way to the regional final. Certainly nothing to be ashamed of. Anytime you make an NCAA regional and you are deemed one of the 64 best.
It's really, really hard to make the NCAA tournament, especially on a consistent basis. Josh Holliday has been the head coach at Oklahoma State for 6 years. They've played in the NCAA tournament all 6 years. Went to the College World Series back in 2016.
Second in the Big 12 this year. Called strike three, ends the inning. The Big 12, the number 2 RPI conference. Another run makes it 11-0 after 4. Stetson as we go to the top of the 5th. Hatters head coach Steve Tremper joins us. Coach, obviously off to a great start. What do you worry about the most in a moment like this as a head baseball coach?
We're playing the game like it's 1-0. I mean, we've done that all year. We just got to refocus every single inning. We want to try to make our pitches, play clean defense, and then we want to have quality at bats. We're not going to change anything. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's a lot of game. Oklahoma State's obviously a great hitting team. It's the Division One, tournament. Everybody's here good, so you got to continue to keep playing as hard as you can all the way to the last out's made.
How do you keep the guys focused? This, has the potential to be a very historical night for your school.
Yeah, I tell you, for us, we just got to play one at a time. I mean, we're pretty good at focusing. That's what we talk about all the time is just refocus. Every inning we got to get back out there and put our plan in our mind, paint the picture in our mind, and go out and try to execute.
Steve, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Christian Funk with the first hit of the ball game for the Cowboys off of Jack Perkins. It's a double. And here comes Trevor Boone, who hit 2 two-run home runs this afternoon against South Florida to help lift his team to a 6-1 victory over the Bulls. The prize tonight for Stetson, potentially, a trip to the Super Regionals, the final 16 of college baseball, and then 2 out of 3 games for a trip to Omaha. The College World Series starts on June the 16th. Boone fouls it out of play. North Carolina ahead 11-5 over Houston in the top half of the 7th inning. If North Carolina holds on to win, they will host the winner of the DeLand Regional, this regional, next weekend in Chapel Hill. And the young man who started for North Carolina tonight, their starting pitcher, right-hander Austin Bergner, ironically, is from 50 miles away from DeLand in Windermere, Florida. A lot of players come out of Florida.
A lot of good players in this state, a lot of good players in the state of Texas. It's a hot two states that are a hotbed for recruiting, Georgia as well.
Boone, the center fielder, strikes out. Hale will have to throw him out. Funk holds at second. Right there it is. North Carolina beat North Carolina A&T. They held off Houston last night 4-3. They are leading Houston 11-5 in the seventh right now in Chapel Hill. They started about an hour before us. North Carolina, as you can see, the number 6 national seed. Perkins' 6th strikeout, by the way. Pitching now to New Sifter. He was a strikeout victim to lead off the third inning. Two and 0. I noticed that New Sifter, as we got to look at him, he wears those athletic glasses that are designed now. Did you wear glasses when you played?
I did, because I had to, because I couldn't see without them. I couldn't wear contacts.
How much would you have liked to have played in those kind of glasses in your day?
Oh, a lot. It would have been a lot lighter, I guarantee you that.
Some people back in the day could not see out of the corners of their glasses. Those like he has on take away that problem. You see a lot more of it now.
Yeah. And plus, some guys have sensitive eyes too, so it helps protect during the sunlight.
3-1. Some of the guys playing here this afternoon wore sunglasses in the field and at the plate.
Yeah.
I don't understand why more people don't do that. It seemed to be a big advantage.
Sometimes it's a comfort zone, depends on the player.
In the air, left center, Coos. 2 down. Florida Gators trying to become the first team to repeat as national champions since South Carolina did it under Ray Tanner in 2010 and 11. It has only been done 6 times. Rusty Inser, you do not doubt the Gators.
I do not. Now, one of the big things that's hampering Florida, and we've been so busy here, I haven't been able to keep up with the Gainesville Regional, but I know one of their star players, starting catcher J.J. Schwartz, a senior, broke a bone in his hand. He did not play in the last series, regular season series against Mississippi State, did not play in the SEC tournament. I don't think he has played in the Gainesville Regional. Getting him healthy, whether he is or not, getting him healthy back into the lineup, if they can advance to a super regional, extremely important in Florida getting back to the College World Series.
Florida would also be, McCusker swings and misses, the first number 1 overall seed to win the College World Series, if they do, since
Miami.
1999. Well done. McCusker strikes out, and the leadoff double is wasted. Halfway home at Stetson, it's the Hatters 11, Oklahoma State nothing. NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Melching Field at Conrad Park, home of the Stetson Hatters, and it is a party right now in the regional final of the DeLand Regional for that man, Steve Trimper. So now a couple defensive changes. Travis Wacker has gone in to catch. He will go in the lineup for McCusker. Simpson, the catcher, has moved to left field, and Littell has gone to right field. So there's Simpson moving to left field, Littell moving to right field. Battenfield still pitching, but a new battery mate in Wacker. Bottom of the fifth. By the way, we were talking about the Gainesville Regional. Weather delay right now. Florida Atlantic led Jacksonville in this game 12-0. It's now 12-7. Jacksonville batting in the top of the seventh, but in a weather delay. Just goes to show. In the olden days, they used to say, don't touch that dial. Now I don't think there is a dial.
No.
If there is, I can't find it on my television.
And I don't think you punch tickets anymore. It's more like scan.
You
right?
scan.
Yeah. So if Stetson wins tonight, they're going to scan their ticket to the Super.
That doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't sound as good.
Top of the order in McNeil. Chops that foul. Be McNeil, Spooner, and Coos against Battenfield, who has given up just one of the 11 runs since coming on in the third. A 10-run third. 10 runs, 7 hits. Just one man left on base. 14 men came to the plate. Every Hatter in the lineup scored a run. Ball scored 2. McNeil takes low, and it's a walk. Bring up Spooner. Coos heads up to get the ankle guard left by McNeil. He does it all. Coos and Wilson. Be a good law firm.
Need one more. McNeil.
McNeil, Coos, and Wilson.
Yeah, you got to have a McNeil in there.
It is true. There's Michael. 1 for 3. He's driven home 2. He's scored 1. He is 4 for 10 in this regional. McNeil has a lead. I would think you could steal on Battenfield, and I would think you probably also want to try the new catcher, Wacker. There's McNeil. Fouled out of play.
But do you want to run up 11-0?
Yes.
Now, listen, I mean, I get what Steve Trimper said in our in-game interview. You know, you keep playing the game. But I'm going to give you another school of thought.
All right.
If you do, that might ignite something emotionally from Oklahoma State. I would.
What did Steve Trimper say to you, though?
I know.
You're not playing the opponent.
I know.
What did he say?
But you got to think about the opponent because that's who you have to beat.
Spooner is swinging a miss. And he's gone.
I mean, I get it.
But what did he say to you?
Continue to play the game.
Continue to play the game.
Yeah. But
I think, with some of these leads we've seen teams give up, I think you have to worry about yourself, especially when you have Jack Perkins pitching.
I mean, that's true. I get that. But continuing to play the game, stealing at 11-0 in the bottom of the fifth, I'm not sure that mixes. Now, do you still get aggressive on the bases, take the extra base, score a runner from second on a base hit? Absolutely.
I thought you were asking me the question.
I think I was answering yours, wasn't I?
I can't remember.
I can't either.
Coos chops it foul. Well, we know this. Coos is not going to stop. And Battenfield hasn't either. Really good effort coming in this situation. Brooks Wilson waiting to hit next. Bottom half of the fifth. Outside. You know, with the energy in the stadium right now, or the lack thereof, because you're up 11-0, I might be inclined to agree with you as I think about it. Let a sleeping dog lie. Fair point, Rusty Answer.
Well,
You've made me think.
You don't have to agree. That's just an opinion. Oh, man. I want one of those.
I was going to make a play on it.
And it's a possibility to get in the booth.
Everybody's chatting it up right now. They're comfortable. They're on the verge of winning a regional. Why wouldn't you be?
Exactly.
2-2 to Coos.
Hey, keep fighting.
Fouls it off.
Now, I'm going to take our little discussion a step further.
Good.
If it goes to 3-2, I'm okay with starting the runner at 3-2.
You're still playing the game.
That's playing the game. I'm okay with that. Because what you're doing there is you're trying to stay out of the double play and, you know.
I think you may have brought me around. Called strike three. Good pitch by Battenfield. Coos did not like that call.
Quietly, Peyton Battenfield's done a nice job.
Look at that. That's 5 Ks.
Yeah. Got a little bit of run on the two-seamer there inside.
I can understand why Coos wouldn't like it, but I can also understand why it was called a strike.
Yep.
Here's Wilson. Staying at first, McNeil. 2 down. Wilson fouls it into the glove of Wacker.
And I'm going to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
When this regional started, if I had said Stetson's going to win this regional and Brooks Wilson's not going to pitch, what do you think the chances of that happening are? You would have said.
You know, I'm probably not going to answer it the way you think, because as we studied their starting pitching, it was so impressive.
Yeah.
So I'm not as shocked as you might think, because I knew that they had 5 quality starters. I would have been surprised, but not maybe as much as you might have thought.
I didn't think there would be any way they'd win, but I guarantee you he'll pitch in the game tonight because they need to get him some work.
Flies to center, and the inning is over. Leadoff walk is wasted by the Hatters, and it's 11-0 after 5. The ESPN networks bring you every game on the road to Omaha, starting with regional coverage on ESPN2, ESPNU, SEC Network, and ESPN3. Whip-around coverage is also available through ESPN3 and the Bases Loaded channel. All coverage is available on the ESPN app. Top half of the 6th inning. Cade Cabanis, the designated hitter to lead off. It's 9-1-2. Batting for the Cowboys. They have 1 hit so far off Jack Perkins. It was a single, correction, it was a double to begin the 5th inning by Funk. Two and one. He's a good pitcher.
He is a very good pitcher. I mean, talking about 10 wins, that's the second most on the club behind Logan Gilbert.
Struck him out. This is a big moment for a lot of people associated with Stetson University. Jeff Altier, the man in the middle with the green hat, he is the athletic director. He played for the legendary Pete Dunn as part of this program. And in this moment, he has every reason to smile, along with the lady sitting right in front of him, Dr. Wendy Libby. They have a chance to be on their way to a super regional, most likely in Chapel Hill next week.
Pretty incredible.
Such pride taken about being in this position to host this regional, the whole town taking just massive pride. Big moment for them overall. Oh, 0-2. Rosa strikes out.
Good depth right there on that curveball. He is rolling. Nice balance by Jack Perkins.
Perkins at 9 strikeouts at this point, and through 5 2/3, just 67 pitches. In the 2 games, last night's 10-3 win, and in this one so far, 28 strikeouts for Cowboy batters against Hatter pitching.
That's domination. That's taking it to the next level.
One and 2 to Kroon, the talented shortstop.
Kroon's got great bloodlines. Mike, his father, Mark, pitched in the big leagues for 4 years, Padres, Reds, and Rockies. One of his teammates when he's with the Rockies was Matt Holliday, Josh's brother.
The side struck out by Jack Perkins. That's 10 for him. 11-0 Stetson. Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Regionals, presented by Capital One. Jack Perkins behind the camera, literally. 10 strikeouts on the night.
Get out front, young man. Everybody needs to see you. Man.
Is it just me, or does he look like Jason Priestley, the actor?
Check yourself, dude.
I'm serious. Fago, the hitter.
It's 11-0. We're not going to talk what Beverly Hills 90210.
I'm not talking.
Okay.
I'm not talking. I just said, does he look like that guy? Fago, Arenas, and Miola, 5, 6, 7 in the order against Battenfield.
Vanderbilt just pounding Clemson in the 7th inning, 14-5. Commodores within a handful of outs of winning the Clemson Regional for the 2nd straight year.
You don't think Tim Corbin, the Vanderbilt coach, enjoys that a little bit, do you?
I think he enjoys it a lot. I think. Listen, I don't care who he's playing. He just enjoys winning.
But he has a few ties there.
He does. Of course, Monty Lee, the head coach at Clemson, they were not there at the same time. He was an assistant under Jack Leggett. Also, Kevin O'Sullivan, the head coach at Florida, also on that staff.
What about the ties that Steve Tremper had in his 1 year at Elon before he transferred to Eastern Connecticut?
He played for Rick Jones at Elon. And one of his teammates was Jim Schlossnagel, who's the head coach at TCU. And Mike Kennedy was another teammate. He is the Elon head coach right now.
You talk about a beautiful school. Elon has a fantastic campus in Elon, North Carolina. Little nubber, Battenfield throws him out. Battenfield has thrown 61 pitches since coming on in the third. 3 2/3 innings of work, I should say. And he has really done a great job.
One more note about that Vanderbilt score I mentioned just a second ago. Vandy shortstop Connor Kaiser is having a night to remember. He has hit 3 home runs. He has 9 RBIs. He has hit a grand slam, a 3-run, and a 2-run homer. So if he hits a solo homer, would that be the home run cycle? Is there such a thing?
There would be now.
Wow.
Miola, speaking of home runs, does not have one.
Vanderbilt as a team has hit 7 home runs tonight. That is a school record.
See if that's going to drop. It does. Miola can do no wrong right now. His 3rd hit of the night, his 6th hit against Oklahoma State pitching. Texas Leaguer, base runner with 2 outs for Hale. Hale 1 for 8 in the regional with 4 runs batted in. I don't know that you ever say someone has a productive 1 for 8. But if you did, you could for what Hale has done. Sac fly in the 4th inning. Drove in a run with what turned out to be an error. A run would have scored, however, even had the force happened because the bases were loaded. Miola's base hit, the 11th overall for the Hatters. Oh and 2. Catcher hitting in the 8-hole. Up high. Major League Baseball draft begins tomorrow. Detroit with the first pick. Reports that they are considering 3 players with the first pick. Rusty, who do you think they take?
I think Casey Mize. I agree with Keith Law. I think he's the most ready major league player in college right now, and he can help immediately. Detroit likes college players.
Go to the top half of the 7th inning. Oklahoma State needs something big to happen to stay in this thing. Just talking about the draft. Collegiate players among the top 16 prospects. We saw Shane McClanahan yesterday pitch for South Florida. One name not on there is Logan Gilbert from Stetson. Man, was he impressive.
Just because they couldn't fit it on that graphic. But his name will be called. There's Logan. What an effort last night. I was extremely impressed with him. Big, tall right-hander, 6'6", 7 innings, 121 pitches, 14 punch-outs. Look at this. An electric fastball, working inside out. Had a nice curveball with depth working as well.
Simpson hits this high in the air down the left field line, and it's caught by McNeil. 1 out. I thought he was fantastic.
I thought he was too.
Rusty, you and I normally cover the Southeastern Conference, so we have seen over the last 5 years the best of the best from that league. He is in that class.
He's in the conversation. I agree. Now, I think I still like Mize and Singer better at this point for the draft. That's the reason they're ranked higher, mainly because now. Listen, don't get me wrong. Gilbert has a ton of talent. I'm kind of splitting hairs here. A guy like Brady Singer, he's more natural three-quarter. He's got more run on his two-seamer. I think he's got a little bit more depth on his curveball, a little bit more bite on his slider. I think he's got more Major League ready three pitches, and you can throw in. And Jackson Coar's got a Major League ready slider right now. But with that splitter with Casey Mize, I mean, he just separates himself with everybody. Of course, Brady Singer was the SEC Pitcher of the Year, mainly because of his one-loss record.
Let's take a look at this young man one more time. I think after this pitch, that's a strike. Look how young he looks.
Yeah.
I mean, what you know about guys like that, having played with him and having known him, he's going to get thicker, he's going to get stronger.
Projectable right-hander, there's no doubt.
Called strike three. Funk is out and will stretch it out at Melching Field with the Hatters in control. Bottom of the seventh. Battenfield into his fifth inning of work now. Pitching to Ball. Ball is 1 for 2, a single, 2 runs scored, and a strikeout. Jack Perkins, 11 strikeouts in 7 innings. By the way, after giving up the one hit, the double to Funk, he has retired 9 in a row. Kyle Ball, 1 for 9 in the regional. Looking for hit number 2 on the night. Lindsey Meggs and the Washington Huskies have knocked off UConn and are advancing to their first ever super regional. Gets away. Whacker.
Going to call interference on the batter. I think he slung the bat.
So he was out anyway.
He was out anyway.
By the way, that's 8 strikeouts for Battenfield. That's a good story on Washington. The number 63 RPI team. A lot of people furious they got in. Furious they got an at-large bid. And they've won a regional. Nice job by that team. Rusty, we had them 2 years ago at Vanderbilt. That's a quality program.
It is. Lindsey Meggs does an outstanding job.
Top of the order, and McNeil, a couple of walks and a strikeout. Hits that off the end of the bat into short center. Should be Kroon, the shortstop, 2 down. Spooner going to get an at-bat. Mike's 1 for 4. SEC having a pretty good night overall.
Yeah, Texas A&M eliminated, but everybody else still rolling along.
And North Carolina leading over Houston 13-7 in the 7th. If they can hold on, they win the Chapel Hill Regional and will host the winner of the DeLand Regional next weekend in the Supers. Spooner grounds out, and the inning's over. 3 up, 3 down for Battenfield, who's pitched well in tough circumstances. Top of the 8th, Melching Field at Conrad Park. DeLand Regional. Regional final. Stetson scored 10 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. They lead 11-0 over Oklahoma State. Boone hits it to right. Spooner catches it for out number 1. Rusty Inser, we were talking about Washington, and I lost track of something. What regional were they in again?
Conway.
So they were at Coastal Carolina.
That's correct. So now try this on for size, okay? The last 3 regionals that Washington has played in, they've had to travel to Oxford, Mississippi, Nashville, Tennessee, and Conway, South Carolina.
Conway, South Carolina, for those who don't know, is basically Myrtle Beach.
It is.
14 miles away.
Now, again, you made a good point when we were talking about it during the break. They're going to have to travel anywhere because they're not going to be, they're not going to go to Stanford. They're not going to go to Oregon State. They could have gone to Texas, one of the host schools there. So, I mean, that's a possibility.
Like that pitching line, by the way.
38 strikeouts in 2 games. Unbelievable. Look at the ERA. Here's another thing, too. They've walked, 4 guys during that span as well, right?
Yes, sir. Newsefter pops up. Miola catches it. And Oklahoma State is down to their final 4 outs. By the way, they've only had 2 base runners. Kroon walked in the 4th. Funk doubled in the 5th. Quietly, this has been the best pitched game of the entire regional.
Yeah.
But because of the 10-run third, it would not appear on the front page of the newspaper. The number 1 story is going to be, if it holds, Stetson wins their first regional. This may be trouble. It is. Wacker, in his first at-bat, gets a hit.
Selfishly, Mike, I'm glad Christian Funk had a double back in the 5th. That would have been a tough one to give up to lose a no-hitter.
Sure would.
But let's, this game has been, we've been talking big picture, we've been talking other things, but let's talk a little Jack Perkins right here. This guy's been absolute nails. 10 wins on the season, about to get his 11th. That's going to tie Logan Gilbert for the team lead.
Taking second is Wacker. Catcher's indifference. Perkins does not want to lose the shutout here.
He does not. Still got some pretty good depth on the curveball. The junior from Ocala was first team All-Atlantic Sun. Along with his weekend mate, Logan Gilbert.
Well, what did Steve Tremper tell us about him? What did Dave Thurno tell us about him?
Best pure pitcher on the team. And after seeing Gilbert last night, I was like, really? I think I kind of believe it now.
Called strike 3, and even does it in terms of strikeouts for Jack Perkins. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Stetson cruising. Part of the order due up here for Stetson. Jacob Coos, who's a junior. Brooks Wilson, who's a senior. And when we think about it, they may be taking their final at-bats here at Melching Field. Wilson certainly is. He's a senior. But I think Coos probably has turned a lot of heads in the last few weeks. Swings at the first pitch, hits it high in the air. Coming on fast is Funk. Really good first baseman, Funk. 1 out. Brooks Wilson. Coming up, Brooks drove in 2 with a double. He's 1 for 4. He's 6 for 11 in the regional with 6 runs batted in.
More news from Clemson. Vandy has gone back-to-back home runs again. Julian Infante and Harrison Ray. Vanderbilt against Clemson tonight has 14 hits. 9 of those are home runs.
My goodness. Just don't think of Vanderbilt as a home run team. 2-1. Battenfield came on in the third inning, I should say. And the sophomore getting ready to throw his 80th pitch as Wilson gets another base hit. Almost for good measure. 7 hits in the regional for the All-American.
Wow. Have a weekend, Brooks Wilson. Only thing is missing is a save or two. He'll be well rested for the Super Regional against North Carolina.
Eric Fago, 1 for 4. Hits it high and deep to right center. Caught. Making the catch, Littell, and Brooks Wilson has to race back to first base. Crowd gives Littell a nice hand. Really good effort to go get that baseball.
Tremendous athlete. The senior playing his final game in an Oklahoma State uniform. This ball was well hit. I thought it had double written all over it. Look at Littell. Stretches out. Nice play by the young right fielder.
6'3", 207. Good-looking athlete. 2 down, runner at first for Jorge Arenas.
And I'll mention it again quietly. Bettenfield done a great job.
Great job. 5 2/3 innings. Struck out 8. It's given up 1 run. Chopped to third. Foul ball.
Those 9 home runs that Vanderbilt has hit tonight at Clemson, that ties an NCAA tournament record for home runs in a game.
And we've both called games at Clemson. Clemson is not a small ballpark.
Nope.
I mean, it's not the biggest in the world. I would say it's about average. The ball doesn't carry in a crazy way there. That makes what Vanderbilt's doing all the more remarkable.
17-6 is the score in the top of the 8th.
One and 2 to Arenas. Jorge has scored 2 runs. He's 1 for 3.
Houston's making it a game 14-11 now against North Carolina. Late.
Arenas slices it out of play. That in the 8th inning. We'll check that. Two and 2. It is in the 8th inning. If North Carolina wins, they will host the Super Regionals next weekend against Stetson, the 6th national seed against the 11th national seed. New Stifter throws high and away. They're going to hold Wilson at third on the throwing error, the second of the game on Newstifter. Be second and third with 2 outs.
Tough play right there. Probably should have gone to second base. It's a shorter throw.
By the way, right now, top of the 8th, Houston still batting. They have scored 4 times in that frame, in that 14-11 contest. North Carolina has not shut the door.
And they got a runner on second.
If Houston comes back and wins that game and then wins tomorrow, the Super Regional would be here.
That's right.
Miola. He has 3 hits in this game. He has 6 hits against Oklahoma State pitching. Oh, 0-2 the count. Battenfield strikes him out. We go to the 9th. Hatters 3 outs away from their first ever regional title.
For more coverage on the Division I baseball regionals and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com.
Jack Perkins trying to close it out. If he does, it'll be his second complete game of the year and would be his first shutout solo. He's been part of 2 shutouts. When you're playing non-conference, maybe you pitch 5-6 innings and they want to get other guys work. Rosa on the ground to third. Miola can't come up with it. Rosa is safe. Got to be E5. It is. So Rosa is safe at first. And they're going to take Rosa out, the 5th-year senior.
Class move by Josh Holliday right here.
Let all the Cowboys come congratulate this guy who has done it the right way.
That's a guy that helped them get to this point. Missed 14 games with some injuries. His bat has been huge in the lineup here in DeLand.
Max Hewitt will run for it. Brings up Kroon. There's Max. Just like the way Josh Holliday does business.
I tell you, I've been extremely impressed with him. I covered a lot of games when he was an assistant at Vanderbilt, but this is the first time I've really covered him as a head coach. He's very positive. He's in the game, and I like his style. He just unfortunately was a little short on pitching in this regional. Good baseball coach.
6 straight regionals since he became the head coach in 2013. Matt Kroon, a 2-2 count. By the way, Brooks Wilson has run down to the bullpen. Now it's 2-2. They had it wrong on the scoreboard. I apologize. There's Brooks starting to throw. I would imagine if Perkins were to lose the shutout, they might try to get him in.
That's a baker's dozen right there and punch-outs for Jack Perkins. Let's give him some love. One of 4 captains on this 2018 Hatters team. Tonight, he has become the 3rd pitcher in this rotation to record over 100 strikeouts, joining his teammates Logan Gilbert and Mitchell Singer. That marks.
Look at this, going to throw him out from right field.
Whoa.
Second baseman Ball playing in short right, throws him out.
Marks the second consecutive season that Stetson has had 3 pitchers with over 100 strikeouts.
They come to their feet at Melching Field, Conrad Park. The dream of hosting a regional when they built it in the late 1990s. The dream has come true. And tonight, Jack Perkins on the doorstep of helping the Hatters to history. The hitter is John Littell. Base hit. The shutout is gone as Hewitt comes home to score.
You almost got to feel good for John Littell, a senior, driving in a run and quite possibly his last at bat in a Cowboy uni.
Here comes Dave Thurno. I think they're going to try to get Brooks Wilson in this game.
I think so too. And listen, it's not to show anybody up or anything like that. Listen, he needs some work. It's different pitching an inter-squad game, because if he doesn't pitch in this game tonight, he will have gone roughly 2 weeks without throwing in a baseball game. He's going to stay in.
Going to stay in.
I can't fault that decision either. I can't fault Dave Thurno for that. I mean, that's respect.
Rope to right. Foul ball. Funk has him timed.
You cannot miss on the inner half to that man. He can handle the inside pitch as good as anybody. I talked about that lower half torque that he has. Gets a ton of power from those hips.
1-1 as Littell takes second. Stetson has never been to a super regional. Called strike. They're gunning for their school record 18th straight win. In their biggest moment on the baseball stage, Stetson takes a step forward. They have proven they are worthy of the 11 seed. They have proven that they were worthy of hosting a regional. Taking third, Littell. This great university in this beautiful small town in Central Florida. In the air to center and deep. Coos. That is a good baseball team.
Hottest team in college baseball coming into the regionals. Won 3 straight. Sets a school record with 18 wins in a row. Ties the school record with its 48th win on the season. On to the Super Regionals for the first time in school history.